Dave, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad we get to do this tonight. We'll get into all that in a second, but it's good to be here, and
It
thanks
is.
for joining me.
I'm glad to be here, and I did want to say thank you to your lovely wife for she contacted me and said she put together a care package for me. Um,
Seriously?
yeah, because you beat me so bad, and you were making fun of me all week, and so she said you guys wouldn't be there, and so she just left it on the porch. So I came by and I got it. It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I do appreciate it. It was funny because she said you guys wouldn't be there, but I thought I saw you driving away, but I'm not. It may not have been you. I'm not sure. So let's just see. I saved it because I didn't want to. Let me scoot this back a little bit.
Is this kind of
I
like an
wanted to be.
is this like an
Yeah, I wanted to
unboxing?
be surprised.
Okay.
So first we got. Oh well, this is odd. Let's see, we got one, two Rheingeist, and they appear to be empty. That's
Okay.
a little odd for a gift, but I guess I'll go with four empty. Seems like maybe a six pack, and there's two still out there somewhere. So I don't. That's really odd.
Yeah.
What else we got? Well, there's White Castle, but it
Oh.
appears like it's already been eaten. Are you sure? Were you around? Not well. That wouldn't have. That wasn't you. Never mind.
No.
What else we got? Oh, then we got. Oh, well, this is nice, and some cookies and some Twizzlers. But wait a minute. It kind of looks like this bag kind of doubles as something else.
What?
Let's just
You
see
can. What can you use the bag
would
for?
you,
Oh, look at
would
that.
you look at that?
Oh.
Would you look at it? What's it say? Oh,
It
it's
says.
worse than loser.
Oh, it says Kevin. So this
Yeah.
is kind of like I'm just gonna. My wife is super creative, Dave,
Yeah.
and so I believe what she's put together for you is like because this new territory for you.
Yeah.
You
Well,
haven't been here before. I believe what she's done is created a loser starter kit for
is
you.
that what it is?
This is kind of like it's all the things that you would need just to basically give up on life. You know what I'm
Are you
saying?
taking a picture of a screen?
I cannot eat. I don't know if I am or not, but
So, one other thing, when I went up to get the care package, I saw
yeah.
this letter on the ground by your mailbox.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, I thought I was hoping it'd be money, and so I just took it.
yeah.
But so I opened it up, and it's kind of odd. Let me just see what it says. It says, "Dearest Kevin," and the dearest is in parentheses, almost like in a mocking font. And it says, "I do not know who you are or how you got my address. I keep getting letters from you that seem to be intended for someone you refer to as dearest mother. I have not yet sought help from authorities with a cease and desist because, frankly, you seem like a disturbed individual, most likely with a myriad of substance abuse issues and mental health illnesses. From what I gather, there is some sort of imaginary contest going on that involves statistics from real-life grown men playing a children's sporting game with real-life other men using those statistics to determine the outcome of these imaginary battles. I mean, you even trade these men as if you really own them. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It also doesn't seem like there is much enjoyment from these contests, at least historically as it applies to you. You all need serious help. I need you to stop sending these letters because they are scaring my family. Signed, do not reply."
Oh.
Interesting.
I thought that I was just sending those letters kind of out into the ethos, but I guess
Yeah,
they're
no,
been actually going to
you,
someone.
you must have the wrong address.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah. So anyway, here we are.
Dave, it is
Another
good
week.
to it's good to be here. Hold on, let me just send this out as a sneak peek for the for our fans. It's good to be here because everybody in the group that follows the group chat that's everybody who would actually watch this episode.
Yeah.
Was kind of aware today, going through a lot, but I'm actually this is something, a distraction. It's fun to take your mind off things and talk about meaningless sports like football and especially fantasy football. You know what I mean? So I appreciate being here. I appreciate all the prayers. I was at the hospital all day with my dad. For if people don't know, he's got a tumor on his pancreas. We went in today to do a Whipple surgery, which removes some it removes all the tumor and removes some like of the surrounding parts, like gallbladder, part of his stomach, part of the pancreas, like all that stuff. But when they got in there today, they had done some of that work, but when they actually went to remove the tumor, it was just going to be too dangerous because of how it had attached itself to a major vessel that and so he'd already been in surgery for like, I don't know, like 8 hours at the time. And so it would have been another probably 5 or 6 hours if they wanted to try to do this. And so he can live with this slow growing tumor because they like bypassed everything and did as much as they can. So, it wasn't the outcome that we wanted. Like we went in thinking, oh, they're going to do this Whipple surgery. They take out everything. It's invasive. It's like, it's hard, but once you recover, you know what I mean, then it's like, oh, cancer's gone. So it's not that, but we just gotta move forward with like what the new outcome is. And so I appreciate everybody's support and texts and calls and everything all day. And but
Is your dad a very good patient in the hospital?
He's not a very patient, if you know what I mean. But right now
I get the feeling that he would rather do what I did last week, for pretend and just dig it out himself with a knife, with a buck knife.
Yes, if given the option, if he could go like commando and just like, he probably would have.
Guys, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Rambo action, like where he heats it up and like just like sears them.
Yeah.
So being down and out for the next like 6 weeks will be really hard on him. When he wakes up tomorrow and we have to tell him like, hey, we went in and did all this, but we actually they did take out one tumor, but there's a tumor remaining. Hey, we didn't get that one. That'll kind of be a bummer for him, I think, just knowing you went through all this. But they did some good things. They moved some things around. They made sure that like the bad effects that the tumor was having, they remedied those things. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor. Trying to explain all this to people like is tough because it's like really nuanced. But my point is that I like football and fantasy football because it's a distraction from some of the other stressful things that we go through in life. And so I appreciate getting to jump on here and yuck it up with you.
Yeah, I
and
wasn't sure. I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, tease each other. And I appreciate that group of guys that are in our group because, as much as we give each other grief and everything, we all love each other. You know what I mean? We want the best for each other. And so it's all love. But we have some fantasy football to talk about.
Let's jump in.
We have some winners and we have some losers.
Yeah.
And
or Kevin's,
so
as some people say, Kevin's.
Yeah, you got some Kevin's. So Dave, you have an award to give out. Have you thought about who your Miller Time Team of the Week is?
I feel like I've put this off for as many possible weeks as we could. And but there was a marquee matchup.
Yeah.
And between number 1 and number 2, and number 2 beat number 1, and now is the only undefeated team, and it probably pains you. It's he's won every week and he hasn't been the Miller Time Team of the Week because somebody's either gotten high points or something.
You think he's been keeping receipts on that?
I think so, but I can't put it off any longer because this win put him in first place. But so it goes to Adam. Good job, Adam. What do you think?
Cheers, Adam.
Yeah, I mean,
the
rich get richer sometimes, but
I hate it. I hate it for a couple reasons. I hate it because at the end of the day, Adam ended up getting to 102, and so that's that's respectable. You know what I mean? Adam's actually trending up. Like his scores
Yeah.
like started out low and now they've been
Oh, yeah.
trending up. So
I mean,
you know, Adam, again, we said this last week. Adam's team's not bad, but any other week that Travis played in football so far probably wins. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it just happened to fall this, and so uh, Adam's Adam is
And there were
super
some,
consistent.
Travis wasn't the only one that dealt with some mid-game injuries.
Yeah.
But it definitely affected, Matt McCaffrey scored, but he'd been, it was pretty early when he left, and maybe he gets, he would have still had to come up with 20 more, 15, whatever more points, but
Yeah.
that's not unheard of.
So yeah, I don't want to downplay, congratulations, Adam, on Miller Time Team
Yeah.
of the Week. You definitely deserve it. Travis only had one score before this week that was would have lost to Adam's score, but I mean, who's counting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
who is? Not you.
Yeah, right.
Definitely
Not
not
me.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
Other people. That
yeah,
was
other
your
people
stat
might.
guy was, apparently.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but so well deserved for Adam.
Okay.
I mean, we're not making this up. Like, he's been in the league for over a decade. Like, we know he is just super consistent, right?
Things work out. And I think he might have a touch more or a touch less of the, like I feel like I fall into, as much as I know players and I like do some, I still a lot of times pick what I want to happen instead of what I think will happen. And I
Yeah.
feel like he sets aside, other than, he doesn't always just pick, even though he likes the Chiefs, he doesn't have a whole team full of Chiefs thinking that all of them are going to do well every week.
You're
knows
saying
better
he's
than
a
that.
robot.
And so, yeah, he went out and got Kelsey, which wasn't a bad, but other than that, like, it seems like he picks and plays people that he thinks are going to do well, not who he wants to do well.
Yeah.
And like, whereas I desperately want Waller and Fields to have immaculate seasons, and it just didn't work out.
Well, I knew that. You know how I knew that is because in the 4th round you drafted Phillip Rivers, and I was like, Dave.
Yeah.
I was like, Dave.
Like, I still
Phillip
hold
Rivers
out
isn't
hope.
playing anymore, and you were like, oh crap, yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, he's calculating. We make fun of his charts and graphs, but they seem to work.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's get away from the good and let's go to the bad.
All right. Hillbilly of the week. I need you to do me a favor real quick, Dave. Can you take off your Bengals hat and can you put that other hat that you had back on?
This one?
Oh, there we go. Congratulations, Dave. You are the Hillbilly Harrison Kevin of the week. I mean, Hillbilly of the week. I could have given it to Lee, but like Lee's had a stretch of bad luck. I feel like that we maybe just gave it to Lee. I don't keep track of these things, but Lee would also beat me up. I mean, 50.9 points, Dave. Come on now.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, you can take it off now, but
pretty, and I can't just say it was, that Fields got hurt because, although 2 weeks in a row he scored 40, which I know he's not going to do that, but even if he gets 20 more, that's still
40 would have helped you.
Yeah, it would have got me to 90. So no, I had other problems across the board that didn't work out well.
Your Gabe Davis experiment didn't work out so well for you.
He's been fine up, this week. I think, yeah.
It's like boom or bust, right? It's like,
yeah, and so is like Devontae Smith had a big drop that would have been for a chunk of yards, and I think Jalen remembered that and didn't throw to him the rest of the game.
The only thing that would have made life better for me is that, I mean, because I said it on the podcast a week ago.
Oh yeah,
I told you.
You did.
I'm dropping.
Yeah.
Tucker.
So that's why I put about the only thing that made me chuckle was just watching
because
him
you
kick
knew
all
it was coming, right? I was like, and I told you, I was like, I don't care how many he scores, I'm done with him. Like, he's, you know what I mean? Yeah. And Fair Barn had been great, like, up until then. Like, I don't know why nobody had picked him up yet. Like, he's I mean, even still, he's like the number 3 kicker in fantasy, like, points wise. But if I wouldn't have done that, I would have got high points. That elusive
Yes.
high points.
You
Do
dropped. What
do you rem-
was
do
he
you do you
like?
remember when I was do you remember when I was 17 years old and I won high points last time?
I don't remember that. No,
No.
I don't remember that.
I
So
dropped I put it out on waivers. I picked up, so I dropped him Wednesday night, like
yeah, so Thursday. So somebody would have had to pick him up.
Sunday
They
morning.
could have picked him up Thursday morning, but it would have had to been
No, or
right
Sunday
before that
morning.
first game, and
Yeah.
the early game. But
Oh,
so
well,
like we all had a chance, but
yeah.
yeah. So
So
what?
let
Yeah,
me just our standings. We got Adam in first, as you alluded to. Travis drops down a spot
yeah.
to 5-1. Travis is fine.
He's
Nobody's
although
worried.
he, yeah, I mean he got some injury hits, but I don't think they're going to be serious.
Yeah. What about Ed?
Man, he is rising, and it's not like, I mean, Mostert has been a revelation, but like if you just look at the names of the lineup, it's not like like
Here's how solid the middle is. Like the middle of our so I've won 3 weeks in a row and I've scored over 100 3 weeks in a row. And of this little pack of guys that are playing, Lee and Josh ended up losing finally. But I can't get
yeah,
past these guys,
yeah,
Andy and Ed specifically, because they keep scoring a lot of points
yeah,
and they keep winning. Like, I dug myself a little hole by scoring like 49 points in
yeah,
week 2. I don't know if you remember that or not,
yeah.
but it is like I can't make up ground on these guys because they just keep winning. Ed and Andy just keep winning.
Yeah, and big weeks, Ed
Yeah.
got another High Point win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I feel like I've made up some ground in scoring, like by scoring over 100 the last 3 weeks, but I'm not yet to averaging 100 points a week. I'm close, but not quite. Ed is up here at 670 points for the season, and Andy's at 618. I mean, these guys are. I mean, Ed's almost a full game ahead of me in scoring, and Andy's over, like 30 points ahead of me. So it's like, yeah, I got
But
a lot.
4-2s are there's a gap there between the
Well,
three and
so yeah, ESPN's projection is that of the 4-2s, I'm the lowest. I have a 92% chance of making the
yeah,
playoffs. Andy 97, Ed 95, Travis and Adam both 99%, and then there's a major drop off. Josh is next at 83. Dave, you want to hear what yours is?
it's probably not good.
It's 12%.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
I mean, we got as many games left as what we've played, so but
That's good news.
but
This whole thing could flip.
yeah, but like what I guess to where those factor in, like there's a bunch of us down at the bottom that are going to scratch and claw to try to get above each other, but it would take 3 of us to knock somebody like you or Andy out,
Yeah.
like 3 of the low people would have to get high enough to get both of you, to get you out.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but I'll just say this. There were a lot more injuries last week
oh
going
yeah,
into this week and more buys.
yes.
So that's going to play a
This
factor.
this week's pretty volatile.
Yeah, this whole thing this script is not written yet. So anything's possible. I mean, Junior's hanging on like
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. Like he didn't get the win against Rennie, but very well could have 2 weeks ago. And but his scoring has increased over the last 2 weeks. And so down at the bottom,
You think maybe being stuck in a hospital bed's been a boon to his fantasy life?
I think that it has brought him good fortune. with nothing else to do but focus on his fantasy football team,
Yeah.
Junior has done really well.
And he had time to overthink it, because we
Mhm.
talked about last week where if he would have just not gotten around to, not putting Moss in,
Yeah.
he would have won.
Yeah.
Instead, he took him out and put somebody else in, and oh well. So yeah, let's recap real quick the ones we haven't talked about.
Brennan remains at the bottom playing Ed, and Ed just keeps scoring, as we said.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was. Brennan got up to 87. That would have beat. Well, it would have tied. It would have beat like three of us.
Yeah.
But
not a terrible score, and really got, he just didn't have any huge game from anybody. He got decent scores from people, but I mean, Ed is just rolling.
You get high points with a 10 spot from your quarterback, you're doing pretty good elsewhere.
Yeah. Brian is also struggling.
And he hit a decent score for him, but he just caught Junior with, some good performances. I got to watch Burrow in person do what he did, which he could have been way better. He had some bad throws.
I mean, obviously, if Logan Thomas scores, then it does anything, then he's got a better chance of.
And he had been. I mean,
Logan that's what I mean. Like, that's an anomaly. To get 0.2, one reception for 2
Debo
yards.
got hurt.
Yeah.
Early with only 1 point, and that he's usually good for. He could have easily gotten 10.
Getting 1.3 points out of 2 your wide receivers is going to make it difficult for you to beat people. So, Adam, we said, continues to chug along. Andy, so what is that? What do you think about Rennie's score? I got to think that Allen's going to do better. 67 is probably an anomaly for Rennie, but anytime you score really low, you gotta it's a concern, right? Like,
Allen's 18 that's a pretty good floor for it. I mean, a lot of us would for a quarterback.
If I had a quarterback that scored 18, I'd love it. Yeah.
But yeah, but he had been getting 30s and stuff, and that would have been. But yeah, it was. He kind of the running back thing, and Cole Kmet has been up and down. He's had great weeks, but I think with Fields getting hurt, they kind of put in a backup and just ran the ball and didn't do anything the rest of the game because they didn't have a game plan.
And how bad did Denver look?
Yeah,
he's got Jared Jeudy on his team, but I've never seen a team look worse.
Yeah, so that's not good.
No,
and then New England's defense is not a defense. They haven't. Yeah. So he had some things not go well.
Now, but, Andy did have the miracle picking up the Vikings.
Yeah, that was a great move. That was, that really, well, even you take it away and he still wins. Take 23 points away, but yeah, that was pretty savvy pickup. So Andy, man, he's not. I think I put on my little write up that he's not following the script of coming into the league and struggling.
Yeah. Now, what's your assessment? Have you looked at what's going on with Lee's team? Because he went 3-0 and now he's gone 0-3 the last 3 weeks. Can he turn it around? That's just the question I have. Well, he lost to Josh 107
Connor,
to 50.
Herbert, and Jefferson all with IR next to their name, and those guys were contributors to his first few wins.
Yep.
So that, and they're still there, and they need, I think that that has a lot to do with it. So yeah, he's going to have to flip he's got to have to find some people to replace those points. I can relate.
Yeah. And as long as Josh has Tua and Hill on his team, he's got a chance to win any given week, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, this bye week might it forces him to sit Higgins, and it might be I hate the thought of sitting Higgins because I love when he's good as a Bengals fan, but he's just not. Watching that game, every play that he was in, he would leave the next play. Yeah. He never stayed 2 plays in a row. So he's not right. He's not 100%. Chase wasn't coming in and out every play.
Did you pay much attention to this other matchup, the Smithereens versus the Rat Trappers? Did you look at that one
No,
much?
we're done. No, that we
Oh,
covered everybody.
okay.
No, you're
Eh,
man. I mean, you had some injuries that are gonna, but they all did good this week for you. But it looks like you're gonna miss some time with old Kyron. But boy, they
Well,
all hit.
I think they're saying he's going to miss, and then they got the bye the week after. Is that what it is?
I think they're which because they have the bye, they'll probably for sure sit him, this
Yeah.
week. But Lawrence might play. So,
Or no. They don't have the bye till week 10. He's
oh,
for sure
okay.
not playing in week 7, so he'd be back for Dallas and Green Bay. And then I heard it's just a sprained ankle,
Okay.
and that he expects to play, but not this week. I will
But you
say
at least,
having Jonathan Taylor back to plug in there makes me feel better, and it's week 3 of him playing, so maybe
yeah,
his workload will
yeah, it could have
increase.
been worse. And at
Yeah.
least you got, may not be the news you wanted to hear, but you got some clarity that you can officially drop Richardson and
Yeah.
get somebody else in there,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wish he was playing. I mean, I would have liked to see him play the full season. I think that anytime you got those scrambling quarterbacks, it's just fun to
Yeah,
kind of watch. But there's a reason that quarterbacks don't scramble.
yeah. But at least you're not sitting around waiting week after week and holding up a spot.
Yeah.
He's safe to drop now. But yeah, I mean you've got
Yeah.
maybe this
I
week
got it
some
set to
injury stuff
drop
that you
him
got to
and
figure out.
pick
But
up. I think I'm picking up Tua Tagovailoa. Is that right? Is that how that I can just pick anybody I want?
yeah, you get anybody. Yeah,
Okay.
you can take them right off people's teams.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, remember we talked about the vampire team? Like
Yes.
you beat somebody and then you get to take one of their players.
Yeah.
So
There
do you
you
think I
go.
would I take Justin
You
Fields?
you wouldn't want any of my people. Now
It'd
Fields
be
is gonna
like,
miss. He's gonna miss a couple weeks, so I'll have to. Me and a few others are gonna be needing a quarterback this week.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, honest assessment. You look in the mirror, Dave. Can you rattle off some wins here, or
no,
are you like,
not without a lot of help.
yeah,
No, I'm gonna have to have some luck or not, some pick. Like if I'm win, it won't be with the team that I have right now. It'll
yeah.
be with some people that are coming to the team later.
All right. Well, let's jump in and look at this matchups for this coming week. We've got coming off of a big game. Ratty had what did he end up with? Like 107?
He had 102. No, yeah,
102?
10. No, you're right. 107. Yeah,
107 against Adams 102 last week. That was just what
yeah,
last week is. Um, Adam is projected to score 105, which is
yeah.
very possible.
With like two of his starters on bye, he had people
Yeah,
to plug in to stay high.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, if anybody, like, I just kind of looked up and down this week, like, outside of trying to play Travis 2 weeks in a row, because Travis had been up there. But so anybody, you think who else could you play against if you had to pick who you wanted to play against Adam? You know, Ratty's a pretty good choice
Well,
because
he's going to plug. He doesn't have a kicker right now, so once he plugs in a kicker too, like that, it would adjust that. And not that ESPN projections mean much, but
yeah,
on paper it'll be a lot closer matchup once
yeah,
Josh has a kicker in there. And as much as these guys on Adam's team, Cup has come on and been great the last 2 weeks. He's got Diggs. You got Swift and Kamara who have been good. Justin Herbert's been good. If I'm Adam, I don't want to look across and see Tua, Hill, and Keenan Allen that I got to face.
yeah.
So,
Although
especially if a lot of those,
Allen and Herbert sort of offset a little bit.
yeah,
But if it all goes in those situations, if a ton of the points go to that wide receiver, the wide receiver gets more than the quarterback.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It'll be who gets the advantage. You know what I mean? As far
yeah,
as and that was a little bit of the Mahomes Kelsey battle that we had last Thursday night for
yeah,
Adam and Travis. Kelsey really ended up with the advantage there
yeah,
because you know when you get your quarterback versus their tight end and you end up with similar points, the advantage goes to the guy with the tight end.
yeah. it'll be interesting to see that game. Miami, whether Philly tries to slow it down or
Yeah.
whether it'll be a shootout or not.
Yeah. But Adams' defense, Cleveland versus Indy with no quarterback. Cleveland might drop a 20 spot on
Yeah, they've been good.
their
They
defense
just,
is legit.
Everybody thought the 49ers offense was just going to roll over everybody, and they found out that that's not true with Cleveland.
Yeah. So it is as good as the Adam versus Josh matchup is, and I think it is a really good one. The Ed versus Travis matchup is just as good because something's got to
Yeah.
give here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a chance for I think I haven't looked, they're probably fairly similar in points, so
Ed's
this
got
could
to
be.
Ed's got to adjust his lineup. If you're watching this, Ed,
Oh yeah,
adjust your lineup.
no,
College,
Ed's got more points. So yeah, if Ed wins, then Travis will find himself from going from first to third in 2 weeks straight.
yeah. So,
At least third.
but Mahomes,
So
McCaffrey,
it's a big game for Travis if he wants to stay in contention for regular
it,
season champ.
yeah, for sure. You want to stay in striking distance of Adam, and there's no guarantee that Adam wins this week, right? I think Josh has got a legit shot to knock him off.
Oh yeah,
but and so again, you're looking at Travis like, oh, beat Ed, maybe Josh takes down Adam, I get back where I wanted. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, exactly.
It's a
but
bit,
Ed's thinking keep rising,
and
so
I
yeah,
get
those two.
Yeah, Ed's like, I win this game, Adam loses, I might end up in first place in a week. You know what I mean? You just never know. That's what's nice about it being within one game, like striking distance.
Then the lopsided trade will be a thing of the past.
It will, yeah. All right, what we got here? We got Andy versus Brian. So Brian's lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Andy's won 2 in a row. And on paper right now, Andy looks like he can't be stopped. And obviously, Brian's got some holes to fill.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, Brian, fill your lineup.
The only thing, like, Brian can maybe hope that Andy reverts back to that week that he scored really low and has a Jekyll Hyde moment where he reverts back to his monster self.
Just because both teams are really good and a lot of guys got guys from Philly and Miami, that Philly Miami game is going to dictate a lot across a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But
that is for sure. So yeah, obviously the advantage here looks like it's to Adam big time, or to Andy big time, but Brian's sitting over there with Lamar Jackson, who's pretty good, and he's got to figure out whether Debo's going to play and plug some, but I pointed out a lot of us, he's going to have to waiver pickups or, free agent pickups because he's one of the guys with 2 quarterbacks on his bench, and then 3 of his bench spots are bye, so he doesn't have a lot to pick from.
Well, our next matchup is Brennan versus Junior. And if you just pull it up right now, both guys have a ton of work to do. They haven't messed with their lineups at all. Brennan doesn't have enough players on his bench to put into the starting spot. So he obviously he was active in chat today, so hopefully that means he's going to be active in
Well, he hasn't not filled out a lineup yet.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, no, he's had a full lineup, so it's not that. It's just they haven't been people that have been doing that great. But yeah, this is, obviously Brennan and I are kind of in the same place as every week at this point. You almost say must win in order to get yourself back in contention. But Junior's low enough to where a loss is going to knock him down,
But like it wouldn't take much for Junior to be knocking on that 8th spot.
No. He was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got, but yeah, this is, and if you're either one of these teams, you're glad you're playing each other because you got a legitimate shot.
What are the other options? You want to play Adam or Travis or
Andy or Ed.
Josh.
Yeah, you don't want to play any of those guys.
Yeah.
If you desperately need a win.
Right. Speaking of desperately needing a win, you're up against Rennie.
Yeah, who also desperately needs a win. I mean, maybe not as desperate as me, but he, sitting with 2 wins isn't. He's precarious himself. He's outside looking in.
He's got less lineup work to do than you do.
Yeah. Although, no, yeah, I mean that's true. Some question marks next to some names, but
yeah,
I bet they all play. But
well, if Jones doesn't have a question mark next to his name, you go ahead and tell me, okay?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like
The whole season.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
No,
So
I don't.
Are you telling? Because I'm just piecing together some things you've been saying about your own team since we started the podcast. Are you saying that your team's makeup will look different come Thursday night? There's going to be guys that are on your team right now that won't be on your team come Thursday night.
Well, I definitely need a quarterback, so somebody's getting dropped.
Okay.
And then the rest of it all just depends on how the pieces fall, whether I,
Yeah. Are you
thing
you
is
gonna
like
you are you spinning your waiver
I don't
wire
know.
spot on a
Yeah,
quarterback?
I don't know because I look and I can't, I don't know which one of those guys to pick. So I'm almost ready to, part of me wants to just
Josh Dobbs.
he's not
What?
he's not on he's on he's on a team, right?
Oh, he is.
Yeah. No, no,
Oh,
maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah,
I,
I can't remember. But yeah, I don't
yes. I
I
mean,
mean
all the
there's nobody
quarterbacks.
that's like rock
No,
solid, that's the guy to pick.
no.
Could any of them score 25? Probably 5 of them could,
Yeah.
3 of them might, 2 of them probably will. But which one it is it worth doing a waiver spot? Yeah, I don't know about that. But it could be for me because I haven't heard clarity on whether Fields is a 1 week, he's got a they said hand contusion, which, hey, Justin Fields, if you're listening to this, if you happen to catch this podcast, I don't care if your hand's broken. I don't want you throwing. I want you running.
Yeah.
You're supposed to put the ball here and run. You haven't done that all season. Remember last year when you took off running from the other team's 20 and you ran for an 80-yard touchdown a couple times? Do that.
See that?
Don't even try to throw. Wildcat it. You can play with a broken hand. You don't have to throw it.
And you don't have to hand it off.
No, just run. So yeah. So I might not just be thinking, other people when they're picking up for a waiver, because there's a couple people that need quarterbacks just to fill a waiver spot. They probably don't want to waste a waiver pick on a 1 week guy. But I might be needing somebody for 3 weeks, but there's nobody out there that I'm like, yeah, that guy's gonna be rock solid 3 weeks in a row.
All right, that brings us to our last matchup. We've got the Smithereens versus Big Lee and Show Me Your TDs. As confident as I felt the last 3 weeks, because I just had my team, my lineup,
Yeah.
Injuries and buys have definitely affected me this week, but I'm facing a team that has what are these little red indicators next to people's names? Are those good?
No, and they're even worse when they have letters, like 2 letters, like an I and an R.
Okay. So Herbert, Connor, Jefferson. The fact that those 3 guys can't suit up for Lee, is that good for me?
Yeah, it helps.
Okay. Yeah. Now I have to decide: am I going to start Trevor Lawrence? Is he going to play? I have to replace my 1 week kicker that cost me high points.
Yeah.
Richardson's on IR.
So he's getting dropped.
Williams is out. The backup wide receiver that I picked up that had been playing so well is injured. Dell. So
yeah,
I wanted to jump in on that Houston bandwagon. I was like, man, Houston's scoring a lot of points. They're doing really well. Let me pick up a guy injured.
Yeah.
So
and your Puka time has been affected by Cup. Maybe not as much. Like I'm pretty much. I might as well drop old Tutu because he's a distant.
Yeah. I mean, week 1 of Cooper playing, they played against Philly. He had 7 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown, got him 13 points.
Yeah.
This week, Cooper had 100 and 40 yards. I don't know what he ended up
Yeah,
with.
it
It
was
was
a
something
lot.
crazy. And Puka ended up with 7 targets, 4 receptions, 26 yards, no touchdowns
Yeah.
against an
And,
Arizona team, which
well, and that, you know, I almost, we made, I kind of pointed out the beginning of the season because of the Jags, but you got a lot of points from your running back on that same team. And it's
yeah,
tough for, if your running back did well
yeah,
and Cup did well, I mean, how many guys on one team can do well every week?
right, yeah. In a perfect world, like I'll go back to the draft for me. Like my draft, I had some failures. Now, in trying to recover from a bad draft, I picked up some guys that have scored well. They
Yeah.
just happen to be on, I
Same.
mean,
Yeah.
Puka and uh, Williams are both on the Rams. They both have been playing really well,
Yeah.
but you throw in Cooper Kupp to that mix now. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
But you could get a little uptick for Ayuk if Debo's
Yeah,
out, so that probably helps. And McCaffrey might be out, or at
yeah,
least banged up. So you got that going for it. But yeah, I mean, Lee, you never know. Could be a trap game for you. Lee could come up with a good lineup, or maybe Stafford throws a billion balls to only to Cup and gets
yeah,
5 touchdowns, and outscores Lawrence by 30 or something.
yeah.
Um, your
So
running backs seem a little stronger than his, uh, by a lot, uh, but hey, that's why you got to
yeah,
play the game.
yeah. I mean, I'll say this: if I could get to 4 wins in a row, that would make because right now we're talking about making playoffs, right? Playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Uh,
for selfish reasons, I mean, obviously, if Lee were to continue to falter, guys like me and Brennan, that he gives us the best chance to grab a spot. People that keep dropping. If everybody else keeps alternating winning and losing, it makes it tough for us bottom feeders to catch up.
yeah. So, well, right now ESPN is projecting that Adam will come in first place and that you will come in last place. How do you
Ooh.
feel about that?
So there'll be movement.
Hmm.
Brennan's gonna overtake me. I I can't really I can't argue with it. Unfortunately, kind of reminds me of a certain.
Oh, Dave, that's
What do
so. The likeness is flattering.
it is. I mean, it's just sad. It just gives
Yeah.
you like a sad feeling when you see it.
So, question. What happened to the White Castle? So you're saying somebody gave you empty beer cans and no White Castles. So it was like
Yeah.
they wanted you to know what
Well,
supplies you needed to be a loser, but they didn't actually give them to you.
so see, the premise was that Katie got all this.
And then I came down and
You drank it and you drank it and ate it and ran away and
oh
instead of me. I don't know
yeah,
why you didn't take the cookies and the candy. I guess you had to run too fast, or maybe you were drunk.
yeah. So well, Dave, we didn't get to rehearse, we didn't get to plan and talk, we didn't get to do much of anything. Was there anything else about this fantasy week in the past or the fantasy week coming up that you wanted to touch on before we
No,
sign off for
I,
the night?
it's been a rough go, and I don't, this could be a lost season for me, but I'm still having a good time. Cat, get a. But
We're
yeah,
hey, shout out to Junior. We're happy that you're out of the
yeah.
hospital, man.
Oh, is he? Did he go home?
Yeah, he
Okay.
he he sent it in the. I don't know if do you not. Am I gonna have to call you Ed? Do you not check the board, like
Well,
the
no,
message board?
I just it must have happened while we were. I wasn't
No,
looking at it while we were doing our podcast,
no.
and I don't get
150,
alerts.
159 today. Junior said broke out of that joint,
Oh, okay, okay,
and I sent a meme that said freedom. So Junior's home,
okay. Well, good for
and
him.
Rennie offered to bring him a 6-pack of Little Kings. Uh, that must
Uh,
be like their couples drink when they spend.
yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Who's the big
Um,
spoon?
we'll have to ask them in the chat.
I mean, if there's videos, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd take a look at it.
So, power rankings, I don't think they're really controversial.
No,
Maybe Lee feels that way, but his team has been spiraling downhill.
I mean, I think it's
You know,
reflective of some injuries.
I think Ratty gets the Tua
Yeah,
Tyreek benefit of the doubt.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, and the power rankings aren't supposed to just be a mimic of
Yeah, they'd be
the
boring
standings.
if they were
There's
just the
got to be more
standings. Yeah.
to it, and you got some momentum.
But
With
we put it
Ratty
off
and
long enough. Adam deserves, after beating Travis.
oh yeah,
He deserves to be in the first spot.
yeah.
And I don't know who. I just type the names in, like all the stuff that comes after just pops up. It's like that
really?
suggestive text, like
Okay.
AI stuff.
Huh? The little
So
smiley devil face or the
it's
devil
like
face
cursing,
thing.
I think.
Ed really
Yeah.
Jr. is alive. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that stuff just adds itself. I don't even do that. Like where it says Ed, really? Like it just autofill. It's the weirdest thing.
But no,
So
I think it's fair. If you don't like
yeah.
it, do something about it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah. So now
Who posted? Speaking. Oh, I thought did Brennan post basketball stuff?
yeah, they're still talking about the Hoosiers and Purdue. I don't know if you remember. Somebody just reminded me. Last year in the NCAA men's tournament, Purdue was playing as a 1 seed, and they were playing a 16 seed, and the 16 seed won. Did you know
That's
that?
fake news. Fake news.
That's not real.
I did want to.
Man.
I wanted to. There was a basketball trade, and I saw it on the thing that cracked me up, and now I can't see it. Basically, maybe I have to go to the NBA. They traded for a guy to immediately waive him.
Yeah.
Would you like to be that guy?
Yeah. That's like, all salary cap stuff.
Yeah. Like that's like you're just totally a pawn when that happens. Like,
I will say, you know what
Porter.
I love?
Some guy named Porter. Who is it? Kevin Porter Jr. gets traded only to get waived.
Hey, let me tell you one of the things that I love, okay? I love our fantasy football league. I love our group chat for reasons like this. We've got people that never jump into chat. They don't talk very often. You know what I mean? Travis would be one of them. You hardly ever hear from him. Now, there are certain seasons or times of the year where he
trigger
can be
words too.
Trigger words, things that can kind of activate him. You said I was making fun of you pretty bad this week because you scored 50 points against me.
Yeah.
And so something about a trade, and you said I tried to trade Kevin to another league, but it got vetoed. And bam,
I was playing off of all the discourse that had happened,
like a sniper that had been in his hide for 3 days.
Like, that's boom. Like what?
You think he's got like those Google alerts that if you type certain things like
trade, flex,
and then he just gets a special alert?
Oh man.
I love that. And then like Brennan, it's like Brennan hasn't been in chat for maybe like 4 days, and now he's just getting caught up on everything, so he's replying to things that happened like 3 days ago. Like I love that. I'm just like, because then I'm like, oh, people are engaging. They just, maybe not every minute like we are, but it's just funny. Like that stuff's fun for me. So
good stuff.
Yeah, I don't. But
well, Junior, get better. Hope your dad heals quick.
Yeah, we got big games coming up. Lots of stuff for the standings. So I can't. I mean, I was thinking there's so much that's happened this week and is going to happen in the coming week. I'm feeling led like I might have to sit down and like write a letter to my mom about it.
Maybe get the address right this time, because that guy seemed pretty mad.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, but it just feels like something I might want to share with her. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, and And Lee, if you're listening, take it easy on me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
That's
Have
enough.
a great weekend, and hope your fantasy teams do well. Unless your team name is Show Me Your TDs.
Fair enough.
Good luck,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
See ya.
Even you, Junior.